What's up, YouTube? What's up, everybody? Philanthropy is back for another video. This is actually a video that I was not going to do because I saw all day Eagles YouTubers, and yeah, I do watch other Eagles YouTubers, man. I'm not a hater on here. I'm not here trying to profess to be the guy who knows everything. So, and I look at us as one kind of family, if you will. So, yeah, I listen to pretty much to a lot of them, and I've seen that there's been a big theme of defending Jalen Hurts, and many of them have done probably a better job than I'll even do here. So, I'm kind of really just doing this reluctantly. But when I saw this here on this show, Speak for Yourself, that comes on FS1, I felt inspired to go ahead and put this together so that way I can just address some of the things they're saying here. But it's surrounding the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, who will get his first start as a beginning of the season starter with a full training camp and new, group of receivers, stable of receivers, as being the guy. So, I'm going to listen here and chime in.
To see him grab the job and kind of run with it and see what you do over a period of time. So, in response to that, Howie, I had to start thinking, how dangerous are the Eagles? And fellas, I look at the Eagles kind of like I look at a bee. You know when you're at a picnic and you have that bzzz, and you see it buzzing, and Slick Rick, as you see and you hear it buzzing, you start swatting because you know this. A bee has one sting, one good sting. But after that sting, zip, the bee dropped dead and died.
Emanuel Acho, man, he kills me. Emanuel Acho is a guy, man, who was a linebacker for the Eagles for I think maybe 2, possibly 3 years. He was here possibly as an undrafted free agent, if I'm not mistaken, during the Andy Reid years, the latter years of Andy Reid. I mean, he wasn't here for the 2001, 2004 Super Bowl run. He may have been here with the 2008 team. Well, I'm not certain, man, but he kind of found his footing here on this show. I mean, he wasn't able to really become much of a linebacker, which is fine. I mean, I think he does have some talent for this right here, and he's actually an Eagles fan, and he kind of always promotes and roots for the Eagles, so I don't have a problem with him, man. But some of the damn analogies this guy comes up with are just hilarious. What the hell is that supposed to be? They're like a bee with one sting. How'd he come up with that? But anyway, man, let me just go ahead.
All right. See, I think the Philadelphia Eagles do have a sting this year. Jalen Hurts, y'all remember what he did to the Red Hot Saints last year? Stung the mess out of them. Devontae Smith, first Heisman winner at wide receiver since the early 90s at Desmond Howard. Ooh, they got a sting in them. But what happened?
That was the words I heard. That's actually the most praise I've ever heard him give Jalen Hurts, because last year there was this big argument between him and Wiley, or a big discussion where Wiley was a big time Carson Wentz criticizer, and for most of the season you found Acho defending Carson. So what happens with these guys typically is when they find out that they were wrong, because he was found to be wrong in his Carson Wentz take. So as a result of that, what follows is when Jalen Hurts becomes a quarterback, he's naturally going to be a little apprehensive towards giving him the credit or giving him any type of praise whatsoever. So this is new for him. I know it hurts him a lot because he didn't expect Carson Wentz to be gone, and I understand there's a lot of Philly fans who are of this ilk. Many of them, especially when you look at the local radio stations. I know a lot of you guys who aren't in Philly can't relate to this, but we have the station 97.5 The Fanatic, which is an ESPN run station, and there are a number of guys on there. The afternoon guy or the morning guy, Anthony Gargano, he's of this ilk. He was a big time Carson Wentz supporter to the point where he would say things like he wouldn't trade Carson Wentz for the likes of Andrew Luck, and he had a big time thing in the morning. They had the whole show. It was crazy. So for him, it's hard. Many of these guys, they just don't like Jalen Hurts because they don't like the situation we're in with Carson leaving, and also you have Ike Reese on the main station at 94.1, which is WIP, who feels this way towards Hurts. They have this difficulty accepting him, right? So for them, he's going to have to prove himself. And actually, the way they judge Jalen Hurts, they judge him in ways they never judge rookie Carson Wentz. There was always already this acceptance for him. Which is understandable if you believed in the guy, and then all of a sudden you feel like the organization, grabbed the rug from under his feet by drafting Jalen Hurts, and it led to the situation we're in. I get it, but let me go ahead and let them continue.
After the Eagles stung the Saints last year, Jalen Hurts went on to lose the next 3 games. Now, how do I know that they have a sting? Because Jalen Hurts, he contributed to 297 yards a game. That is third all-time amongst rookies since 1970.
Listen to that. That's third time, 297 yards a game. That is just under 300 yards a game. And he mentions here that that's second all-time with rookies since the 70s here. Just listen to that. Listen, people.
He's with a minimum of 4 starts, 297 yards a game. Jalen Hurts got a sting, and do not make any mistake about it. But Jalen Hurts also had a 57% completion percentage. League average was 64. He also had a 52-point passer rating. League average.
Let me talk about this 57% completion percentage. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you guys when Peyton Manning came into the league, look his numbers up. Look up his rookie numbers. What was his completion percentage? His completion percentage was 54%. Okay? 54%. What do you want to know what Josh Allen's completion percentage was? The guy that's in Buffalo? Josh Allen's completion percentage was 52%. You want to know what the great Andrew Luck's completion percentage was as a rookie? Andrew Luck's completion percentage was 54%, or 56%, and Peyton's was 54%. Right. How many people actually know that? Now, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts will be a guy with a higher completion percentage than them simply because it happened with them. But what I will say is, never have I heard anyone accuse Peyton Manning of being an inaccurate thrower, despite his low completion percentage. Nor have I ever heard anyone call Andrew Luck an inaccurate thrower, despite throwing 54 or 56%. Nor, Josh Allen, people have considered him inaccurate. I won't argue with that. He did have to prove himself. But the point is, he's considered a top quarterback this year. Last year, he was actually running for the MVP. So why is it that Jalen Hurts is considered an inaccurate thrower who has to prove himself with his arm and everything? And this is going to take a moment where we're going to have an honest conversation here, America. All right. And what it is I'm not going to call racism. I'm not going to do that. That's pedestrian, I believe. What I will say is, and there's probably reasons for it. It could be because most of the black quarterbacks that have played in the NFL also had the attribute of being able to run. Like most of them, not all of them. Right? Warren Moon, one of the greatest passers of the football in the history of the NFL, was not a runner. He was not a dual threat, not able to run the ball. When we look at Doug Williams, who actually was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl with the 1987 Washington Redskins, he was also not known as a particularly athletic quarterback. He definitely was not seen as a dual threat. I will say the guy that I really think put black quarterbacks on the map was Randall Cunningham, who played for the Philadelphia Eagles in the late 80s into the early 90s, who had been touted as the ultimate weapon by Sports Illustrated, who had ran for almost 1,000 yards, 942 to be exact, while passing for almost 4,000 yards in the season. Randall Cunningham will be the first. So when others, and then you had the Cordell Stewart, who was a terrible thrower of the football, but a great runner of the football. Then you had Mike Vick, who probably is the greatest runner of the football of all time, with a decent arm. Mike Vick's problem was between the ears. All right, and probably because none of these quarterbacks had the success in the postseason, nor did any of them win, a number of stigmas came. And the stigma was that a quarterback who is a running quarterback like that cannot win the big game. You can't win with them. This became part of the stigma. The other stigma was when people would see a running quarterback who was a black quarterback, usually, right? The stigma was they were either not smart enough to read defenses. And this is based on the fact that many people have said that Randall Cunningham, especially with the Eagles, was not smart enough to read defenses. And I disagree that he was not smart enough. No, Randall Cunningham, when he came to the Philadelphia Eagles, was in an offense with a coach and Buddy Ryan who did not value offense the way he should have, nor did he provide Randall Cunningham with a proper staff of quarterback coach and offensive coordinator there to teach him the way he should have been taught. So it was not an issue of intelligence, more so an issue of just a lack of education. There's a difference, right? So, but the point is, where these types of events lead to the building of stereotypes and stigmas that are attached to quarterbacks. And for me, it is clear that Jalen Hurts just has the stigma. Because when we look at his, when did he start being considered inaccurate? We can look at his years in Oklahoma, and one can argue that he was inaccurate in these early years at, Alabama. You can't make that argument for his time in Oklahoma. In Alabama, though, Jalen Hurts was a winner. He was a winner. He actually lost 2 or 3 games, right, in Oklahoma, and he was also what you call a true freshman. He was not redshirted. He was a true freshman. You understand that most quarterbacks or most players, when they come to college, they do a freshman redshirt year, especially quarterbacks. Whereas he was good enough to be a starter as a true freshman. That in of itself was impressive. He was also a winner, and he got Alabama led them to the national championship game, which is where he was benched. This is the first black, eye on his career. And that's fine. But if you're going to be benched, okay, be benched in the national championship game as a guy who got them there, right? It would be much worse to be benched earlier in the year. However, let's move on to Oklahoma, which really matters because this is the season that preceded his draft stock. And in Oklahoma, just look at his numbers. 3,800 passing yards, 52 touchdowns. He ran for almost another 1,000 yards with a 70% completion rate. 70% completion rate. So there is no argument if you're going off a completion rate and you don't value the eye test, because I believe, based on the eye test, that Jalen Hurts is a very accurate passer, in my opinion, because I'm an eye test guy. When I look at the 57% completion rate, I also factor in the fact that Jalen Hurts was pressured damn near on every possession. The Philadelphia Eagles actually led the league in sacks, all right, with that horrible offensive line. There was one actual true starter from the offensive line that was there. Most of the guys, especially by the time Jalen Hurts got there, were mostly third stringers. And Jalen Hurts many times threw the ball away. He would throw the ball away 4 or 5 times per game. And this contributes to a low completion percentage. All right, so I know I'm going based off of the eye test. But for you guys who want to go based off of the percentage, I'm going to let you know you have to factor in the balls that were intentionally thrown away in order to avoid either interceptions or, disastrous situations, loss of sacks or interceptions. All right, so let's go.
I believe in the 80s or 90s. So I know Jalen Hurts is capable of stinging, and I know he's capable of making the Eagles very dangerous. I just don't think they'll be all.
Well, that's more than what you said before, so I'll give you that.
Well, that dangerous. Sancho, big bro, how dangerous are the Eagles going to be with Jalen Hurts this season?
Yeah, the Eagles aren't going to be dangerous at all because they're in the worst division in football, and they're not even the best team in the world.
That doesn't make any sense. If they're in the worst division in football, how does that equate to not being dangerous? That makes no sense.
Worst division in football. They were 4-11-1 last year. That's not good at all, number one. Number two, Nick.
So you said you made 2 points, but you're saying number one, they're in the worst division in football. Okay, so if they're in the worst division in football, then they have a better chance of being dangerous than being not dangerous. That's number one. Number two, if you're saying that they were 4-11-1, what the hell does that have to do with this year? Most of the 4-11-1 came from them being a Carson Wentz led team.
Sirianni is the head coach. I don't believe if put it this way, let's just end it right here. Nick Sirianni is more known for his bad press conferences than he is for leading men. So if we want to talk about the Eagles and what they're doing, you got to look at their head coach, and I don't see great leadership there. Number one, and number two,
So you're basing leadership off of a press conference. Let me let you know who else has bad press conferences. Andy Reid has bad press conferences. Doug Peterson also had bad press conferences. Who else? Bill Belichick. Does he have great press conferences? I guess they're great from the standpoint of he controls the room, but really does he? What is a good press conference? Anyway, let me go on. You're basing him off of that, okay? So you don't see good leadership because he's not good at speaking to the media. Okay, got you.
Talked about it. Jalen Hurts may not even be the starter. Yes, all signs are pointing towards him starting, but last I checked with Nick.
Yeah, he will be the starter. That's pretty much it. No all signs check. Yeah, he'll be the starter.
Sirianni said it's an open competition. And so if you have that kind of misdirection and that kind of open-ended competition when Jalen Hurts is supposed to be the guy, I don't see the Eagles going very
message is more so geared at the other team, other players, not so much Jalen Hurts.
far at all, not only in this division, but also in the NFL.
That was a weak-ass take. Let's move on to this guy.
Jalen Hurts' Eagles will be dangerous to Jalen Hurts. Let's be real about the team that he has around him and what he's expected to do. I love the way you dressed up that 1-3 record. Like, look at all that he did and then he didn't do. And he's coming in as the savior, the backup, being the glorified
roster around him. Let's analyze that.
Guy who's going to change things, and he did and then he didn't. They doubled down on putting the pressure on Jalen Hurts by getting Devontae Smith.
All right, so look at how stupid that sounds. He said they doubled down the pressure, putting the pressure on Jalen Hurts. See, this is the thing with media guys, like they can spin it, right? All right, so if you draft a wide receiver, does that put the pressure on the quarterback, or does it support the quarterback? So this is the way that works. If you are trying to put together an argument to say that Jalen Hurts is a bad player, then what you'll say is, they drafted a receiver in order to pressure him. However, if you are a supporter of Jalen Hurts, then what you'll do is you'll say that the Eagles have drafted a receiver to help and support him, which is part of what you do in building a team. So you got to watch out for these guys when they talk, these double-tongued guys.
A Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver. Even though he's a little bit undersized, and while I might expect that he's going to make good, there's some question as to.
Yeah, so was Marvin Harrison, so was Isaac Bruce, and so is the guy that they have in with the Indianapolis Colts, who they're probably trying to emulate T.Y. Hilton.
Whether he can be everything that he was at the collegiate level. And if he's not, people aren't going to look at Devontae Smith. They're going to look at the guy who is or isn't getting the ball to him on a consistent basis.
Well, that depends. If Devontae Smith isn't getting open and if Devontae Smith is dropping balls, then smart people will just consider that as well.
And how is Jalen Hurts going to be doing that behind an offensive line that is still unsettled? Or with
how's the offensive line unsettled? Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles had, you had Lane Johnson, okay, who's a top 5 right tackle in the league. Brandon Brooks, who's probably the best right guard in the league. Jason Kelsey, who's a multiple Pro Bowler. Isaac Seumalo, who's a solid left guard. And on the right, on the left side, you have Jordan Mailata. Well, we started with Andre Dillard, who is a number 1 pick, 22nd overall, who was hurt last year. Okay, it's not really unsettled. If you do have a question mark, you're questioning injuries and you're questioning whether or not the young guys on the left tackle are going to replace Jason Peterson. But from what we saw, we actually like Jordan Mailata. last year. So this idea that it's unsettled is just ridiculous. The question is whether or not people will be healthy, and that same caveat can go for every team and every position. Next.
Miles Sanders as your running back, not an everyday back. That's still being unsettled.
Yeah, where are you getting that from, that Miles Sanders is not an every down back? Miles Sanders can run between the tackles. Miles Sanders can catch the ball out of the backfield, so you can use him on third down. All right, what down can you not use? All right, this is what I'm saying. Okay, traditionally, a guy that's not an every down back would be considered like, say, your traditional pounder, like an Otis Anderson, if you remember him. Or Kevin Mack back in the day. Well, what happened is this guy, you can run him on first down, you can run him on third down. Short and long, you don't want to use him because he's not effective out of the backfield. There's no such thing as, okay, a running back that, okay, unless you're talking about a Kevin Falk where you catch the ball out of the backfield, but you can't use him on first and second down. Anyone who thinks Miles Sanders is like a Kevin Falk is just retarded, okay? Miles Sanders will be closer to Marshall Faulk to anyone who is honest and knows anything about football and about running backs. He's not under 100 pounds. Miles Sanders is well over 200 pounds. He squats over 500 pounds. And he's a serious home run threat. This guy is just like, why is he even on here?
The pressure and the expectations on Jalen Hurts to make this happen,
Miles Sanders had over 900 yards, and he had the highest per carry average in the NFL. Just because Doug Peterson decides not to run him over 20 times, that's more so related to the offense that has very little of nothing to do with Miles Sanders.
Not demonstrated that he has the wherewithal to do it. And certainly when I look at the rest of what the Eagles have put around him at this point, it's not enough to settle it. Not for what the expectations are in Philly.
What are the expectations? The expectations in Philly are a actual rebuild situation where we'll see what Jalen Hurts does. This is really the reality. However, any expectation like my expectation for winning division is more so related to the fact that I see this division as winnable. I don't fear the Giants, Washington, or Dallas. That's the reason. It isn't because we think, the Eagles should be in some elevated state. We realize there's a new coach, there's a new quarterback, there's new receivers. Everyone understands that. Come on, man.
Philadelphia.
I know we weren't very kind, but Eagles fans, let us back into your city because I need a Max's cheesesteak ASAP. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers' status in Green.
Well, at least he said Max's and not, Geno's or Pat's. Where they put that damn cheese whiz on it. I don't nobody eat that shit. That's just for y'all people who come visit. But anyway, they're pretty much done with that, guys. So, like I said, man, this nonsense narrative with Jalen Hurts, he's going to disprove that. Actually, in my opinion, he disproved it last year for those who really watch closely. But, for those who don't, I'm pretty sure he will. The guy's built for it mentally. The guy's willing to put the work in. The teammates love him, so the leadership is already there. And I ain't worried about it. So till next time, I'm out.